When you see this title, probably one of the first thoughts you have in your mind is that it's some kind of joke, but it actually isn't. I've been asked in the past quite a lot of times about how I managed to play the game and still have as much fun as I do, and how I don't really get tired of playing it. So I've decided to make this video. I've been playing this game for over 10 years now, and have been challenger for over 6 of those years. And you'd most likely assume I had a pretty bad time a lot of the time. And how could that not be, right? Considering the fact that so many people complain that the game is unfun and not enjoyable and that it's not worth playing, and you know, I could keep going on and on about all the rants people have with the game. But the truth is, at least in my case, is that I've had genuine fun, true fun, for like 90% of the time I've played this game. So this video is gonna be me ranting a bit, but I'm also gonna try to give out some pointers and say the things that I regularly do that actually make League an enjoyable experience for me, and perhaps you find some of these useful. So how are you actually supposed to have fun? Well, the thing about fun is that it is completely subjective. It is not an objective thing. Just because someone enjoys a certain aspect of the game, it doesn't mean someone else will also enjoy it equally or even at all. So I'm just gonna highlight what I enjoy and the general rules I have for myself to make sure I don't actually spiral into complete anger and frustration when I play the game. First off, we gotta talk about the chat. This tiny box where you can type out stuff to your teammates or your enemies has been such a massive point of frustration for a lot of people in the community. Personally, I don't mind the chat at all. I actually get pretty entertained by seeing what people type in chat and the flame they do, because it's just kind of funny to me, and I don't exactly take the flame to heart. But if you find that you constantly get distracted and annoyed, you can just press the mute button. I mean, it's right there. Riot even added an option to mute the player pings, so if a person is not only annoying you through chat, you can also actually just mute their pings, and then you get rid of that as well. You also have the option to deafen, but I actually don't recommend it, because what doing /deafen does is it makes it to where you cannot type anything, and you will not see a single message from either team, as well as no pings. Now, the thing is, when you do this, a message will also pop up for everyone else on your team to let them know of this fact. And as crazy as this might sound, there will be people losing their minds over it when they see it. People complain about seeing someone deafen because they think that they can never communicate with that person, but truth be told, it's their decision. If the jungler wants to just deafen and play out the game that way, just let them do it. But again, be careful when you do this. You might find people who legitimately run you down because you deafen, or straight up soft int because of it. My kinda crackpot theory here is that people who int when they see this are generally very toxic when using the chat and the ping system. So because that person simply cannot see the flame if they ever do badly, and that person needs to be reassured that the person they want to flame sees it on their screen, they're just gonna do something that cannot be ignored no matter what they do, like inting the game or sabotaging the game. I kinda get it. Seeing someone deafen at the beginning of a game isn't exactly the greatest of feelings because nothing's happened yet, but it's their choice. Just let them. You don't have to lose your mind over it. There's people who get more upset about others flaming in chat and they do about inters, but the thing is, you can always just mute the person who spam pings or spam types. But you can't just stop someone from running down a game or just straight up ruining it. And I've experienced this a lot. Someone I know told me that even when they mute someone, they will still get upset about it because they know that the person is still flaming them. Like, bro, are you being for real? The reason you mute the guy is so you don't see it and thus don't get tilted or mad. What good does it do to think about the fact that he's still flaming? Because if you're gonna employ that type of mental gymnastic just for the chat, you're probably gonna end up like this whenever you play the game. I'm gonna assume you don't want to end up being this mad every time you play. Yet there's so many people who get frustrated, if not even more than that, just because someone typed nice flash after a bad death where they burn flash and still die. And then that person looks at their screen with bloodlust in their eyes, either instantly flaming the person 50 times worse or just deciding to lose the game on the spot just because they had one remark done to them. And this is why you should mute the chat if you hate getting any type of flame, to avoid situations where you get tilted or angry, which then means you have less fun. But if you're still gonna get tilted because you know and expect them to still flame and type, then nothing would really fix that. What I'm trying to say here is to just mute people who annoy you. It's as simple as that. The option is quite literally a click away. And as a tip for wanting to deafen, don't actually deafen, just mute all, because it does the exact same thing, except you can still type in chat and there won't be a pop-up for your allies telling them you muted all. So you can avoid the entire deafen thing being shown in chat so that your teammates don't mentally implode. Speaking of which, what do you do when someone is just running down the game? Well, honestly, not much. If someone just wants to ruin the game and straight up feed, you as a player have very little agency in the matter. You can try to talk them out of it, and when I say that, I mean type to them nicely. It's important to not flame them, as that won't do much to help this. All flaming would do is actually maybe make them feed even longer or troll more, but that's about it. There have been countless times in Champion Select where someone will just refuse to play the position and just try to hostage, or grief, or lock in some troll pick. And when that happens, the only thing you can do is report them and move on. Personally, this doesn't happen too often in the games I play, but there have been numerous times where people will just straight up run it down. You just have to accept it and move on. Sadly, there's not much you can do about it. There is one option though that you have for players who really grief the game, and that is to make a ticket to Riot support. And I don't mean reporting them after the game. I mean this type of ticket. You go to the actual league website and make a ticket detailing your experience and explaining what the griefer did. Keep in mind that if you do this, you need evidence, like in-game screenshots of what they type, or their score, their items, or making like a small video showcasing exactly what they did, stuff like that. Now, the big question is, why would you go through all of that? Well, for me, it's the satisfaction. A very long time ago, I actually used to have a folder with all of the in-game names of the people who I ticketed and have tracked that got punished in some way. It actually felt super satisfying. And let me explain why with an example. I was playing a game on my main before the feature of name hiding was a thing, and this one guy saw my name alongside someone else's and just straight up said, I will run these two people down on site. And then he proceeded to lock in Singed with Ghost Cleanse and intentionally feed the entire game. And he insisted that every time he would see me or that other person, he would do this to us. I wasn't actually mad or upset that I was losing the game. I was actually a bit entertained to actually see someone run it down this hard and to say this. But the reason I genuinely didn't care is because I knew that with all the proof I could gather, his account would get punished. Either a 2-week ban or a permanent ban. And in this case, the account got permanently banned. The guy went from playing like 10 games a day to suddenly stopping with nothing. And that felt way more satisfying than caring about the LP of a singular game. This is also how you combat someone who wants the hostage in Champ Select. You give them the option to either dodge themselves or play through and then get reported. The way I look at losses caused by feeders and griefers and whatever who do it big time is like a trade offer. I lose a game and the person inting gets one of 3 things. They either lose their chat, take a 2-week vacation, or lose their account entirely. And that is a trade that is completely worth it every single time. Oh yeah, and the cherry on top of that entire situation is that the account was around level 400 and the person who got banned was apparently a scripter as well. You cannot imagine my joy learning he got permanent. Another thing that you should do when playing League, especially to avoid burnout, is just take breaks when you don't feel like playing. You're not forced to queue up game after game. If you don't feel like playing, just don't play. I know this is very basic advice, but it is needed to ensure you don't have a bad mood while playing and to make sure you actually have fun. If you want to perhaps just chill in normal games, do that. If you want to play with friends or play some ARAMs, go ahead and do that. But again, if you don't want to play at all, you don't need to. Nobody's holding a gun to your head telling you that you actually need to queue another game. Who's gonna get mad at you for not playing? You? A lot of people just perma queue up because they feel forced to play more. But honestly, all that does is impact your fun with the game. This is the shortest point of all in terms of how much I have to say about it, but that's because there's not much else to it really. I'm doing the exact same thing now. I'm not really streaming simply because I don't play enough League to do so. I play like 2-3 games in one sitting, or arena games, and those would be like normal games, and then go outside for a walk, or watch a movie, or work on a guide, or a matchup spreadsheet, or do something else, because I don't feel like playing more. If you ask yourself if you want to play League and the answer is no, then why bother? Because Just like how someone much, much greater than me once said,
if it's not fun, why bother?
and this leads me into the final point, and probably the largest in terms of impact for me personally, which is to have genuine fun while playing. While I was editing this video, Necrit actually released a video titled "League Players Forgot How to Have Fun." And I think this is the main reason as to why people do not have that much fun with League right now. I've seen the video and I think it's great at just showcasing how win hungry and rank hungry a lot of the League player base has become. I was playing Arena myself and I saw someone type in chat that the ranked ladder or Arena should have stayed and that now it's worthless to play it. And I was just thinking to myself, so that means that if you have fun, it's pointless? Was that what he was trying to say? Because if so, I totally get why the person got annoyed. But I think that's not the appropriate way to look at things. At the same time, it makes sense to have this kind of a reaction to some extent. People generally want to do nothing but grind the ranked ladder, get to the top, regardless of how much time and effort they put into it, even if they might not have fun. They just put their fun as a secondary goal, when, in my honest opinion, fun should be the very first thing you care about when you play. Take a game like Marvel Rivals, for example. The reason I started playing the game wasn't because I wanted to grind the ladder or because I just wanted to get good at the game to prove that I'm better than everyone else. Sure, I had the option of doing that if I hyper focused, but that wasn't my main goal, nor did I care about that. I didn't give it any attention almost. The reason I played Rivals is because I loved the kit of Venom. When the game launched, Venom was arguably one of the worst tanks in the entire game, yet I didn't care. I'd swing in at unoptimal times or go for odd 1v1s, maybe use my ult when I shouldn't. But it was so much fun to just hear his voice lines or his interactions with their characters or just to pilot the character itself that I just didn't care if I won or lost almost at all. It made zero difference to me because I just had so much fun. I could have picked more meta stuff like Doctor Strange or Magneto or focused more on the climb, but I didn't wanna, simply because I didn't feel the need to. I just played what was fun for me. I would basically play nothing but Venom, and sometimes I would play Penny Parker occasionally. And sure, there were comps and situations where it didn't go the greatest, and my character would be quite ineffective. But for like 90 to 95% of my entire time playing Marvel Rivals, I was jumping with joy because of how much fun it was to just play the actual game. I got to Diamond on it, but I didn't really care to push for more. I was happy with it. Even if I were to be stuck in bronze with like 500 games, I wouldn't care because I was satisfied with myself. And that's what people forget when they play League, I think. They can have fun without looking to win every single game. In my case, I don't pick champions because they're in meta. I pick whatever I enjoy playing. I was actually talking to someone about this, and that person was absolutely shocked and could not understand how me not always picking my best performing champion meant I could still have fun, even if I didn't always win the game. And then I asked the person, well, why do you play X champion? And the answer was because apparently it was the best champion they could perform on that would guarantee the victory, and they just wouldn't take into account the fun factor. I've had this discussion happen a lot of times at this point, even having it happen on stream a few times, where I would talk to someone and after a few minutes of chatting, both me and the person I was talking to would realize that for them, the only fun would come from winning and nothing else. And again, in my opinion, this mentality must change. I mean, for crying out loud, I was playing some normal games and people were legitimately flaming. Like, not just me, but each other as well. Some were saying it's unfair that a challenger player is going into normals, and I can see their point. I was mostly playing to just relax and to get my milestone mastery points up because I wanted to get the new Darius skin from the past quickly. And when I had some bad games where I didn't perform the best or just didn't focus up as much, I'd have people say that I'm boosted and should be reporting for buying the account. So if I try hard and stomp, it's unfair and I shouldn't play normals. But if I actually get beaten and take it easier and play for fun, then I'm boosted and get flamed. But the thing is, nobody should really flame in normals, like ever, precisely because it's a normal. Your goal shouldn't be to see the victory screen at all costs because you get absolutely nothing from it. You should actually just focus on having fun within the game. And you may say, well, winning is fun. And yes, that is generally the case. But if you pick a champion in a normal game just to have the highest chance of winning and not liking liking their kit or the champion, that's an issue. For example, I love playing Mundo. Is he the best in the meta? No, not really. Is he a pretty simple champion? Yeah, he's not exactly hard mechanically. He has some things, but very minimal. But that doesn't matter to me. The reason I don't pick Riven isn't because I can't pilot her because she's difficult. The reason I don't pick Riven is because I don't like her kit or the character itself. I mostly play Mundo because I like his spells and I just like to look and listen to the champion. For me, a huge part of the appeal is stuff like visuals. I love seeing his animations, listening to his goofy voice lines, his auto attacks, his Q hit sound is amazing. Listen to this one on the Taipei Mundo skin. Exquisite. This is why I love corporate Mundo so much. Just playing with that skin makes me smile and have legitimate fun. His walk, his ult animation, his car on the home guard, the small things like his glasses slightly shifting when pressing W, and I could go on and on about these things. Just doing the most basic of tasks, like playing Draven with a gladiator skin and catching axes activates my neurons, or execute ulting someone with Garen ult. The shockwave he gets on his ult when it kills someone does absolutely nothing gameplay-wise, but it just feels cool to experience. And I've seen these things hundreds upon thousands of times by this point, yet I don't get bored of it because it's fun. And if I really do get bored of it, I just take a break from either the champion or the game. I don't force myself on a certain champion because he would be my best character, unless I would literally go like 0-8 before laning phase is even over due to how horrible the matchup would be. But that's a very specific thing and it only really happens in the higher ranks, never really in lower ones. During my grind for the most accounts in Challenger at once, the thing I actually missed most was being able to play with different skins for my champions. And I'm not even kidding. And then you have people who say these kinds of things are irrelevant and you should only focus on winning, which is probably why you end up getting flamed in a normal, or why people want to surrender and move on as quickly as they do. Because hey, if the only thing they find fun is winning, then being in a disadvantageous position is always going to give them insanely low fun, right? Even if I lose a game or I am in a losing position, most of the time I still have a lot of fun. Sure, there's games where the matchup is legitimately horrendous and you get counterpicked into oblivion or the jungler camps you. And then sure, it won't be as fun, but I still just have fun looking at the character or again doing the basic things like throwing out a spell. I played a single ARAM game recently and someone on the opposing team was mega racist. Like, you can't even make this shit up! I've been playing this game since Season 4, and over the years there have been so many champion reworks, skins, events, new champ releases, and so much more. And for almost the entire time I've played this game, I have had genuine fun, playing with a smile on my face, actually being happy. I'm making this video in hopes of reminding people that this game can be fun without needing to win every single game, and that winning isn't the only thing that matters, no matter how much the community likes to say otherwise. At the end of the day, this is a game. You're not supposed to feel miserable playing it, but instead actually have fun and enjoy your time. Don't just stick to meta champs if you don't enjoy them, because all that does is diminish the fun you have with the game. If you want to watch League videos or streamers, I recommend finding content creators that seem to genuinely have fun with the game and actively enjoy playing it, as it will most likely make the experience of playing the game even better for you. But with all that being said, we have reached the end of the video. I want to say thank you to everyone who has reached this point and for watching the entire thing, because it really means a lot. I hope this video managed to change your mind about how you approach League and how you play it, if you just had the mentality of fun equals win and nothing else. I think this video could actually do good in the League community as just a simple reminder to people that enjoyment should come first and winning should not be the one and only metric you have for fun. But again, that is just my opinion. And because of how subjective fun is, there will be people who will never see it as any other way, and where winning is the only fun to be had from the game. And I understand that. I'm currently working on a few more videos, but I'm not sure how long it'll take me to finish them. Due to the fact that I'm working on multiple videos at once, it's probably gonna take a bit longer, but I might just start working one at a time to actually have videos released a bit faster. Once again, Thank you all for joining me in this video, and I will see you guys in the next video, hopefully very soon.